Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by the new Buick Encore, a luxury crossover available at over 5 Richmond area Buick dealers. Experience Buick.
Ball from Castro and out the safe. Messi struck him up. Ryan Cabot. That one is gone. Johnny Monell racing around baseline. Fastball in the air to right field. This one hit deep. Miller heading back, watching it fly, and Perez has given the Squirrels the finale. Hey there, and welcome back to Flying Squirrels Insider, the second season. Jon Laaser, pleased to be with you for another year of being your inside source for Flying Squirrels baseball. I'm back, but pretty much everything else is new, and today you get your first glimpse at our brand new set and my new co-hosts, Wes McElroy and Jay Burnham. Plus, look what we've done. We built our own baseball field right here. So we're going to bring the players to you, and they're going to show you how they play the game so well. Speaking of those players, it's a brand new team of Flying Squirrels in 2013, and right here today on the first episode of Flying Squirrels Insider, you meet that team with your tour guide, Dave Machemer. We met Mac at the airport, and he takes us through the team's first workout, media day, and right into the batter's box for 2013 opening night. We break down the roster as well, and a little bit later, we pay homage to a couple of former Flying Squirrels, Brandon Crawford and Brandon Belt, who helped San Francisco net their second World Series title in 3 years. A lot to do. We're off and running on the second season of Flying Squirrels Insider. And welcome once again, everybody, to Flying Squirrels Insider. It is the season premiere of the exciting and all-new second season. Jon Laaser, pleased to be with you as always. In just a second, I'm going to introduce you to these two guys who we brought here to spice up the show, a couple of married guys, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But first things first, we are very pleased once again in 2013 to welcome our friends with GMC Buick, and brought to you by the Buick Encore. It's Flying Squirrels Insider, a luxury crossover available at over 5 Richmond area Buick dealers. Experience Buick. New set, a new field. Gentlemen, we're going to get on that field a little bit later on and actually play ball ourselves. I know many people don't think that we're capable of it, but first things first, as I introduce Wes McElroy from Sports Radio 910 and my brand new broadcast partner on Sports Radio 910 for Flying Squirrels Baseball, Mr. Jay Burnham. Welcome, guys. Glad you could be here.
Thanks for
Great to be here. Can't wait to get playing on that field.
Yeah.
We're going to get on that field. Later on this season, we're going to have plenty of the Flying Squirrels out here. We're going to have tutorials. We are going to have instructionals, and we're going to lace them up ourselves from time to time and be part of that to bring that to folks back at home. But before we do that, and before we disparage the game of baseball, let's talk about the guys that are actually going to be representing the RVA and the Flying Squirrels this year. As it is year to year in minor league baseball, an exciting crop here. And for the Flying Squirrels, Jay, it really seems to start this year with the position players, but more particularly on the infield. Right. Joe Panik, without question, seems to be the headliner of this year's roster.
Well, it was fun that the rosters came out on Easter Sunday here, and the players just got into town on Monday before the start of the season. And Joe Panik headlines, as you mentioned, a all-prospect infield. He enters the season the number 2 prospect in the Giants organization, first-round pick, a guy that has some line drive hitting ability, gap-to-gap type power, not really a home run threat. But we're going to see Panik move from shortstop to second base here in Richmond, Virginia, due to the fact that the Giants are already set at shortstop 1, and 2, they've got a 40-man roster shortstop player already, a returning Squirrel player in Adrianza.
I talked to Joe Panik during media day, and a number of people talked to Joe Panik during media day, and I said, are you comfortable with that move from shortstop to second? When's the last time you played second? And he said, never have. And I said, not even in T-ball when you just kind of went out there and everybody took a post? And he said, nope, never played second base, but he felt pretty good there in the Cactus League. Another guy that's on that infield west, Adam Duvall, and we also learned very quickly when he got here to Richmond that he's a fantastic guy. He certainly wants to be a part of the philanthropic effort that you yourself are a part of, because he was diagnosed last year as a type 1 diabetic. He's now fighting through it. He's doing a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, and you used the exact word. He's fighting through it. I got a chance to briefly talk with Adam yesterday, and here's a guy about a year ago. Just felt like it was already the end of spring training. Felt like it was the dog days of August. Just couldn't get himself together, had no energy, thought it was maybe a lingering case of the strep throat. But he knew he had diabetes run in his family. So he went and got tested. Turned out he was a type 1 diabetic. And for anybody in our audience who is a diabetic, my father is, it's a big adjustment in life. It's the entire lifestyle. But Adam turned it around very quickly. And this is a guy who went on not only to adjust his life and just learn to play with diabetes, but he went on, hit 30 home runs, drove in 100 RBIs last year. He was had an outstanding year. He was co-MVP in the San Jose team. And this guy really excelled and really exceeded and learned to live with this lifestyle on the fly while improving his game.
And he's going to be on one corner for the Flying Squirrels. You mentioned it, 30 home runs in the California League last year. Yes, that's a hitter-friendly league. We like to say that the Diamond is a pitcher-friendly ballpark. But, Jay, I know you were doing some digging and research while I was doing all the work leading up to opening day. I kid, of course.
Right.
But says that the Diamond actually plays league average. Elaborate on that if you can, because for those of us like Wes and I that have seen balls die in the gap there, we don't believe it.
Well, I think any player would dispute that the Diamond is a pitcher's ballpark for sure. But MILB ran an article that compounded some figures of runs, home runs, average over the past 3 years of all the minor league ballparks. And it turns out one thing we knew is that the Eastern League has always been a pitcher's league, and that's held true. It's one of the best pitcher-friendly leagues in all of minor league baseball. However, it turned out the Diamond, via a complicated formula that I certainly can't.
It's an algorithm, is what it is.
Yeah.
It actually is an algorithm.
Exactly.
And I still don't believe it. Wes, do you?
Yeah.
No, you got to. It's one of those things. It's the eye test, as we like to say. You got to see it, and Duvall's going to have to learn here. It is very pitcher friendly, and balls will die even when the temperatures start warming up.
And Jay, we saw yesterday, because we watched a portion of batting practice, it was cold leading up to the Flying Squirrels home opener, and the guys were pumping them out of the ballpark, including Ricky Oropesa. He's going to be on the other corner with Duvall. We sometimes see these guys, I shouldn't say sometimes, we all the time have seen the prospects come here and struggle, particularly in the cold weather. It seems different with these two guys. I think they're power plays. Do you guys agree?
We'll see. I think this is the most power. Obviously, this is the most power that the Squirrels franchise has had in their now 4 years of existence. And I could see it playing out. I think Oropesa may have even gone under the radar last year, despite his 98 runs batted in, because he was batting behind Adam Duvall. But you look at Panik, Duvall, Oropesa. That's a pretty sturdy lineup in the middle.
And Duvall's a solid guy. One thing that we get to watch with him, he's learning his position. It's only the second year for him playing at third. He struggled a lot with errors. But you know, when things calm down, you can get your defense together, you can get the offense together. And as he learns and adjusts to that, that'll only make his comfort factor in the game even better.
And the Flying Squirrels have struggled a bit defensively on the corners the last couple of years as well. Daniel Mayora was the same thing. He didn't hit for the type of power that Adam Duvall we expect to, but he also led the league in errors over at third base. And Jay, I know you had more on Duvall and what you think may parlay that into success rather than failure.
I was just going to point out, and we should also point out that Mark Minikazi is back, and he'll find some time throughout the season, and it's good to have that kind of veteran leadership from Minikazi. I think we're going to know soon. We're going to know early on, because the first two series that the Squirrels play are going to be against New Britain, and they're going to be against Bowie. And those two teams boast 3 of the top 100 prospects in minor league baseball. These guys didn't see this type of level of pitching out on the West Coast. It's going to be Alex Meyer, it's going to be Trevor May, it's going to be Dylan Bundy and Kevin Gossman, some big names that are going to be throwing for the opposition. So you're going to find out early on just how well these guys are going to be able to adjust.
And all eyes are going to be on Jarrett Parker as we transition away from that prospect infield. But before we do, Eire Adrianza back defensively as a Flying Squirrels shortstop. We'll be watching his bat like we watch the bats of the others. But Jarrett Parker was easily the most popular and the most sought-after Flying Squirrel at Media Day, and that's because he's from about 45 minutes from the Diamond, played at UVA. Wes, he's a guy you know very well. He struggled a bit in the California League. It's sometimes difficult to transfer when you've struggled to the Eastern League, which is, by all accounts, more difficult.
This is a guy who did struggle with strikeouts, and his strikeout went up from his first to his second year in pro ball. He makes the jump to Double-A, and strikeouts, as we know, adjusting to that pitching is going to be very big for Jarrett Parker. But when he can get on base, he can fly. This kid's got a lot of speed. He does not have a big build. He's not going to hit a lot of home runs, especially in the Diamond. But when he can get on base, he can make things happen. Just got to cut down the strikeouts. They've really plagued him. But this is a guy, we'll see if happiness helps out his game. I talked to him yesterday, and just the fact of being at home brought a big smile to his face. He's one of the best players ever to play at the University of Virginia. And now coming back, Stafford, Virginia, family can be in attendance. and hopefully that will help him out in terms of patience.
Happiness helps your game, by the way. And I can tell that you're happy to be here. We're happy that we continue to break down the Flying Squirrels opening day roster, getting through the position players. To fill some of those guys out, we've got Ryan Lawless in center field. Jay, we've got some experience. Lawless actually with some AAA time. And then Javier Herrera. Yeah. Expound a little bit about him. Where did he come from? Why haven't we heard of him? And why might he be the spark plug for this team that we don't know about?
Well, Herrera had an outstanding Venezuelan Winter League stint this past offseason, which led to the Giants signing him. And at one point, you got to go back to 2004, 2005. Herrera signed with the Oakland Athletics as a youngster. He was one of the top prospects in all of minor league baseball, deemed a five-tool guy, could hit, could run, could throw, could hit for power, and have great defense. And then he was injured. He had Tommy John surgery. He fell out of affiliated baseball. Long story short, the Giants plucked him out of independent leagues, and here he's going to be given another chance at the age of 27.
Story from spring training. Justin Fitzgerald was telling it to me last night. Was during an intra-squad scrimmage, so to speak, he threw a first-pitch fastball to Javier Herrera. He hit it about 490 feet off the batter's eye. That's in the pitcher's estimation, so you know that's legitimate distance. And he opened some eyes, but I want to transfer to the pitching staff. Justin Fitzgerald, we learned late in camp, really late, when breaking camps were coming out, that the Squirrels were going to get infused with some of that veteran leadership in the starting rotation. Fitz is there, and a couple other guys are there too, Wes, including opening night starter Craig Westcott.
You got Westcott. He is back for another year, and here's a guy who's bounced back and forth between San Jose and Richmond. Had a full year of experience with Richmond last year, so we'll see what that brings to him. 11 and 10 on the year last year, looking to have a better year this year. And then you also have Chris Glore, a guy I'm very excited to see. 4 and 5 last year. This is a guy who didn't get a lot of run support. Just had an over 2 ERA, but he was carrying an under 2 ERA going into August.
People will see a lot of Chris Glore on the Hill at the Diamond, but also on this show. For people that remember the first season, one thing we're carrying over, Tom Vasella Productions, starring Chris Glore as the Patsy. Usually, I asked him yesterday if he's still comfortable being the Patsy, and he said, I wrote scripts myself. He's ready to go. We hope he's ready to go, Jay, on the Hill, along with those veteran guys. We don't want to see him for all that long.
Yeah, and Glore's a guy, by the way, that we saw come through Trenton last year after he was thrown into the starting rotation and was just lights out. I think my key thought on this rotation is the stability that we could have from Westcott and Fitzgerald and now Glore and the addition of Jack Snodgrass and Ryan Bradley. Those guys outside of Glore, who was in the bullpen to start, 26 starts or more for each of them over the past year and 2. So there's a sense of stability. The guys that give you innings, the guys can take the ball every day. And it might not be the prospect-laden infield that we're going to see on the offensive side, but certainly you like that kind of depth and structure from the pitching staff.
Starting rotation is a lot of guys we know. There's some guys we know in the bullpen as well, and I think we both, and all three of us maybe agree, bullpen's going to be the strength of this team.
At media day, all the players start walking into the batting cage, and there's one that stood out above all the others, mainly because he's 6'8" or listed at 6'8".
I think he's taller than that. I really do.
I agree,
yeah.
and a lot of times when you get these listings, it's when they were 16 or 17 and they never changed their height and weight. So it looks like Jose Valdez is going to be a force in the bullpen. He's going to set up Darryl Madej at least to start. So you have that security with Darryl Madej coming back for yet another year, unfortunately for him, and then Valdez taking the ball in perhaps the 8th inning, and certainly excited to see what you're going to get out of him.
I think at the back end, and we may get there earlier at the beginning of the year because limited pitch counts being what they are, but look at the roster as a whole. Definitely in terms of headlines, position players, that infield star-studded, but some veteran arms and some guys that are somewhat of projects. I think Scott Schumann and some others fall into that role as well. Well, that's the fun part. We're just getting started. We've seen the Flying Squirrels in limited action through a game or so thus far in the opening homestand of the season. Who knows where this season goes? And again, I believe that's why we all do this. That's why we enjoy bringing this to folks here on Flying Squirrels Insider. Other things that we bring you, free stuff. Along with Jay Burnham and Wes McElroy, they have expanded my trinket repertoire. Trinket repertoire. That's how you say that. For Flying Squirrels free stuff, all you need to do, text in to win. Text FSI to 44544, and we're going to give you Flying Squirrels free stuff. 4th season of Flying Squirrels baseball and the 2nd season of Flying Squirrels Insider. Just getting started. When we come back, you arrive in Richmond with Dave Machemer and the team off the plane and to the ballpark and into the batter's box.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, chin down a little. Good, that's it right there. Now, are you going to smile or are you not going to smile?
I'm going to go with a little smile, not
Yeah,
too
do a
much.
little smile.
I used to be real herky-jerky at the plate, and I needed to, my coach told me I needed to slow down a little. So I took the fast rap music and slowed it down a lot. And they caught in 06 with the team I was with. All the fans loved it. So it's 2013, and Frank Sinatra still plays when I come up to bat. I get requests here and there sometimes for other songs, which we'll play here and there, but I try to keep it to the Summer Wind and Fly Me to the Moon.
I heard from Dave this offseason you lost between 15 and 20 pounds.
Yeah, I lost 20 pounds. Yeah, I lost it mostly like right around here. I lost a double or triple chin, a single chin, hopefully.
Oh, I can't tell you how excited I am. You know, my parents are just 45 minutes north, and I went to UVA just 45 minutes west of here. So I'm so excited. I'm ready to play here, ready to be back home. It's a really good feeling. You know, I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. I played baseball there my whole life, so I'm used to this atmosphere. So, you know, the cold weather. I've played in snow, I've played in rain, I've played in sleet. So, you know, I don't think it'll be as big as a deal for me as, you know, maybe other guys that have played in different parts of the country. But, you know, I'm excited to be back on the East Coast.
We're excited to get out of spring training. Everybody wanted to get the season going. So, you know, the guys are excited about being here in Richmond. And like I had told them, this is one of the greatest places in the minor leagues you'll ever play. So just take it all in and go out there and have fun and play the best you can.
Do you have any opening day rituals, anything wacky or anything?
Not really. No.
I heard nothing but great things here from other guys. I said it's going to be a fun town to play in, and nothing but great things. So I like the experience, and I think it's going to be fun.
I'm just, you know, trying to go out there and play baseball. It's, you know, since I was a little kid, you know, I've heard a lot about Richmond, a lot of good things, and especially from, you know, the guys that have gone through here. So looking forward to it, and you know, I was ready to go out there and play some ball now.
The mix of clubhouse is great. Personalities all mesh really well so far. You know, the mix of the young and the old guys. Mr. Parney. Mix of the young guys are good. We have a lot of veterans here that have been in this league and been in Richmond before. We can help out the younger guys to get acquainted faster and hopefully mix well and win some games early.
This is your mug shot in case you do anything wrong.
Okay.
We'll know where to find
Never.
Put this down here, and then I'll have you put your right foot up on that stool for me. That's perfect. That's great.
All right. That's nice.
And then people can come out here when the pitchers are warming up.
Okay, and yell at us and harass us?
You get autographs.
Okay.
Bother Grims.
Okay.
That was the whole concept, bothering Grims.
Where did he get that squirrel top now? That's different.
Kazi's always got the best of everything.
Yeah. What do you mean?
The numbers are falling off.
I don't know. There's no number on Susak. What's the deal there? Hey, Sus, what happened to your number?
This is what happened. Look, they're falling off.
What's going on with that?
So how many guys' numbers fell off?
Well, Susak. Well, there he goes. There's another number. Go and say hi to some of our best fans in the world. Hey, chapstick, my lips are killing me. I have so much fun here. You're the best. Yeah. I mean, last year it was really thin, but this year it looks like it's filled in. We put $100,000 in this infield. What are you going to say?
Price tag.
What?
On the infield.
No, just be honest. I mean, it was $100,000 nowadays. Gosh, that's a half of what you're making this year. Here we go! Heads up! Nobody on. Man on first. Man on first. Hey, boy. Right there. Hi. Second. You all right, Ricky? What? Off the bat, here we go. That's it. One more.
Jeez.
What? Help. Oh. Grab
grab a drink, then we're going to do some PFP. Got him. Yeah, okay, just throw him in there. All pitchers, you need a ball.
And welcome back to Flying Squirrels Insider. When the San Francisco Giants won their first World Series title on the West Coast in 2010, fans on the opposite side of the country in Richmond cheered, but didn't quite feel the connection to their newly minted affiliate just yet. When they won their second title 2 years later, the joyous feeling in the RVA was greatly magnified, and with good reason. There was a sense of ownership in those new-look Giants, and as the baseball city of Richmond watched the Giants storm past the Detroit Tigers, they also watched former Flying Squirrels Brandon Crawford and Brandon Belt play an integral role. It ended here, a glorious celebration to cap an unbelievable run, a parade fit for conquering kings through the streets of San Francisco. And this time, the Flying Squirrels were a big part of the party, celebrating right along with their brethren from the West. The Giants were indeed the toast of the town, and for two former Flying Squirrels, superstar status had been achieved. On the largest stage in baseball, they had not only been serviceable, they had been spectacular. And as the world got to know the Brandons, Richmonders wondered why they were so surprised. After all, they had seen it before. Even before the rock star hair, we had been dazzled by Crawford. He wasn't loud, and he didn't need to be. He was special, and it was easy to see, even when just having fun on an off day. But as it goes in baseball, his ultimate success was never guaranteed. The glove hadn't been an issue since he was just a youngster and a Giants fan himself. But in 2012, he began to answer the questions about his bat. And after success on the grandest level, the confidence was evident as he returned to spring training, entrenched at shortstop in San Fran. And therein lies the beauty of the game and of the process. We knew him as a soft-spoken leader. We knew of his potential. The native of Northern California is home now and is a champion by way of Richmond, Virginia. For Brandon Belt, Richmond may only seem like a hazy memory, lost in the whirlwind of transformation that took him from unknown and unheralded to the cusp of the big time in a single summer. It was only 6 weeks, but in that cameo, Richmonders saw the best of the Texan. He hit everything he saw, and he seemed to do it with ease. There would be struggles down the road, but that seemed impossible to fathom during the inaugural season on the Boulevard. Like Crawford, he is now a fixture in San Francisco, at ease with his surroundings and his role. Baseball once again looks easy, like it did back then. Some think Belt has reached his potential. However, those that caught a passing glimpse of him as a squirrel think otherwise. Back then, nothing seemed impossible. And 2 titles in 3 years just might signify that this is only the beginning. Ken Joyce tutors another talented group of young hitters in 2013. Which ones will be the next Crawford? And which ones will be the next Belt? We find out soon. I sent a tweet about a week ago, happened to be retweeted by Brandon Crawford. To demonstrate his immense popularity, I picked up 100 followers immediately. How immediately? About 60 seconds or so. Yes, that popularity is there for Brandon Crawford and Brandon Belt. They are certainly entrenched as members of the San Francisco Giants, and I definitely appreciate them taking time to contribute to that piece that you just saw. The topic of that tweet, by the way, congratulations to former Flying Squirrels infielder Nick Noonan, who will join Crawford and Belt as it was announced that he has made the opening day roster for the San Francisco Giants. And as you can tell, with Crawford retweeting it, they're certainly excited about that. So congratulations to Nick and also a few of the other Flying Squirrels who more than likely will make their big league debuts coming up in the next month or so. We've got plenty of people to thank on top of Brandon Crawford and Brandon Belt, and the list, again, is lengthy. We start with Craig Keaton, executive producer of this program, and his entire crew for helping us put together this really unique, for this level of baseball set. We certainly do appreciate that. We're going to get on this field the rest of the season with Flying Squirrels here. And, of course, we'll continue to take you behind the scenes at the Diamond. And one other thing, Vasella Productions is back with us as well in 2013. Before we get out of here, however, I have to remind you, if you haven't texted yet, FSI to 44544, what are you waiting for? We told you that 20 minutes ago. Just kidding. You want Flying Squirrels free stuff? Do that. Text FSI to 44544. All right. That's all the time we have for Flying Squirrels. It's
wait,
what? I'm really in a rhythm here.
But we're not going to use the set.
I just said we're going to use the field on the next set, on the next show.
Today,
Mark Minikazi is going to be here on the next show. Fine. Do you need it? Do you need to have a catch, son? Do you? You back off. Sure, why not? All right. Let's take the field. Let's take the field. We'll take the field for the first time. Here we go. Let's see what these guys got.
I don't get it first. Come on.
Hopefully it doesn't hit me in the back of the head. We're going to act like kids because it's baseball season, and we're so glad that you're going to be a part of it with us on Flying Squirrels Insider.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by the new Buick Encore, a luxury crossover available at over 5 Richmond area Buick dealers. Experience Buick.